it is tea time. If you would like to grab yourself your favorite warm beverage or cold, depending on the temperature where you are, and join me for a bit, we can do a bit of catching up, have a little chat. I'm going to be answering some questions today, both from Instagram and the community tab here on YouTube. And we're going to have a good time. I am drinking an extra large mug here of white tea with peach and jasmine. It's one of my favorites and absolutely perfect for spring. Let's start with a few questions about the house and the state of renovations and just house stuff in general. Do you feel more settled and inspired to pour time and effort into your home now that you are a homeowner? We have been renting for 6 years now and slowly starting to save for a home, but I am finding it difficult to decorate and feel settled in a temporary small space. I am a homebody, very much so. And my home and kind of the space I live in is sacred to me. It is vital to my mental well-being, being able to wind down and feel safe and at peace. Making my home look nice and feel very personal to me and pleasant to me is always a priority, even when I'm renting. When I first moved out of my parents' house, I rented this house that was going to be demolished within a few months, I think, was the timeline at the time. They were temporarily renting it out to prevent squatters and vandalism. We always knew it was very temporary, but it did give us a license to decorate the whole thing exactly how you wanted to, and we went for it. I mean, I was 18 at the time and I didn't have a lot of money, of course, to pour into the house, but I did make it my own, and I have been doing that ever since. And everywhere I've lived until this house has been temporary and rented, but decorating it has always been high priority for me. Not only for all of the reasons I just mentioned, but also because I just really enjoy doing it. I get so much joy from decorating a space, and changes don't have to be permanent to be beautiful and nice. I don't think I'm more motivated than I was before. I do have more options now because it is my home and I can do whatever I want with it. Now, as for feeling more settled, definitely yes. Every home I've had before this, there's always been that sense of unease and kind of like lingering stress, I guess, of knowing that this is not my home forever and I can't fully relax into it, and knowing that I will have to move out again eventually. Being able to buy this house and move in here has brought such a profound feeling of peace. I like to refer to it as my happily ever after feeling. Like, I feel like I don't have to chase that anymore. I have it now and it's so amazing. Like, now I can just relax and enjoy what I have and not have to worry about the next step, because this is it, and that feels fantastic. So that brings me to the next question, just kind of related. Do you ever see yourself moving from the house you currently live in? I know it's slightly more common to buy a forever home in the Netherlands. There is only one reason we would move out of here, or at least that's the way we feel right now, and that is if we were able to buy a home in my hometown. For the past 8 years or so, we have been circling around my hometown trying to move there, but it is impossible. My hometown has become so incredibly expensive that it is just impossible to buy a house there, especially as first-time buyers. So the last apartment that we rented was just outside of my hometown, and now we have moved to just outside of my hometown on the other side of it. Always trying to get as close as possible, because that is where we grew up. A bunch of our friends live here, family, all of the things that we were involved with when we were young. My ballet classes, I've followed classes from the same teacher since I was 5 years old. My husband's scout group that he's been going to since he was 7 years old. Like, just everything relating to our social lives is here. So right now, we've decided that the only reason we would move out of here is if we get the opportunity to move into an equally nice or nicer house in my hometown. And chances of that are pretty slim. So basically, this is our forever home, probably. Oh, and then there were some questions about plans for more home improvements. Yes, there are definitely plans. We are gonna redo the bathroom at some point. That is, like, I think, first order of priority. And then there is the patio area in our backyard. So that's the wall leading to the back garden, and the area right behind it, there's like a little terrace with a transparent like roof over it. We would like to get that whole area redone. We would like to get floor to ceiling windows in that wall with maybe like a sliding door. And then that whole kind of like glass roof situation, we'd like to just get a completely new one, because that's a bit dated and looking a bit worse for wear. So I feel like that would be nice to get that redone. And then further down the line, like years ahead, it's not a priority, we would like to get another, I need to look up the word for this, another dormer window. That's the word apparently. We have one on that side of the room, but I would like to get another one here that would just make this room a lot larger and just more functional, and I think that would be really nice. Are your neighbors aware of what you do professionally? Some of them, like the neighbors we have spoken to, like some of the neighbors we just speak to briefly when we see them outside. Some of the neighbors we spend a little bit more time with, and they know, of course, which is mostly our direct elderly neighbors, and I don't think they really understand what I do. They probably think I'm a seamstress. And I wonder what our neighbors across the street think I do, because a camera set up in the bedroom is a regular occurrence, and I don't want to know what they think I do. Do you plan on having other pets sometime in the future? So if you're new here, you may not know I had pet rats for 10 years, many pet rats. And I have been thoroughly traumatized. I don't want pets anymore. I can't handle it. I loved my rats so dearly, and having to go through them falling sick and dying so many times, I can't do that again. I don't want to. It was too much. Plus, now that we have a baby, I honestly don't think I would be able to give a pet the time and attention that it deserves and needs. Plus, it is one more thing to worry about, and I do worry a lot when I have pets. Just in terms of time management and making sure they're always taken care of, and when we're gone, there's someone looking after them. I honestly can't see any pets in at least the next 5, maybe 10 years of my future. How do you feel about your YouTube channel and content now? Honestly, I am very happy with the content I'm making right now. I changed the format of my videos slightly after baby was born, and I went from more project-based videos to more of like a, I don't want to say polished vlog style, I guess. I tried to make my videos really calming, and I really enjoy taking a little bit more time to set up the camera nicely, film nice shots, find nice angles, while still getting to share all of the things I love doing. So I'm actually having a lot of fun making videos again. There was a time when I really struggled to come up with content. I didn't really know what to share anymore. I felt pretty stressed out. There was a time when I was making sewing videos every week, and I had to sew an entire thing every week, and it was difficult and stressful. It wasn't enough time. I was rushing projects, always chasing deadlines, and I can't do that anymore. We've had to find a new balance between work and family life, and I have dramatically reduced the number of hours that I work. But that does actually mean that I have something to share again, which is really nice. Now, as for the channel, someone else asked, how is your channel doing? Well, I mean, it's plain to see, right? Not that great, honestly. My views have dropped a lot over the past few years. I am losing subscribers, and a part of that is definitely due to my content just evolving and changing a bit, but I think a lot of it is also not. I know there is something going on because I receive messages pretty regularly that pretty much say, oh, I thought you left YouTube when you got pregnant, which means that people just are not seeing my videos in their homepages. One person even messaged me saying they need to look up my channel every Friday and manually click my video, and they still don't get my videos in their recommended feed, which is just insane. I honestly don't know what to do about it. I contacted YouTube. They basically, not in those words, but basically told me that my video is just not interesting anymore and I need to deal with it. And I know that that's true for part of my audience, but I know that there's a large part of my audience that wants to see my videos but just isn't seeing them. So that's just unfortunate. And then there's also, of course, the shift, the very noticeable shift away from long form content and towards short content, TikTok. I feel like YouTube is definitely not the industry-leading platform that it used to be. It is no longer where you go to reach the masses, and I have never been a creator that speaks to the masses. I feel like I make content that only appeals to a smaller audience, which is completely fine. It would be nice if that audience that actually wants to watch my videos was able to watch my videos. Luckily, there are still sponsors that want to work with me, so I'm still able to be here and do what I do, which is absolutely wonderful. And we'll see how long we can make this last. I am not planning on going anywhere. As long as this still works well enough, it is the perfect way to combine work and family life. I don't see myself being able to spend this much time with my child in any other type of job, semi-related. If you have time to sew again, what would your first project be? So, I actually came across a pattern. You may remember a few years ago, like 2 years back, I think, I made a few ball gowns with like shaped cups and a boned bodice. And for that I used a pattern by Daria Pattern Making, and I recently started following her on Instagram, and she actually just released a new sewing pattern for, I think she calls it the blueberry dress, and my hands are itching. So honestly, that might just become my next sewing project because I like it so much, and it is exactly the shape that's kind of missing in my wardrobe, with kind of like the gathered area around the bust and then fitted right below. That's a dress shape that is really on trend right now and right up my alley and just right within my style. So why do I not have this in my wardrobe yet? And I need to make it. Maybe I will just make it. If you could only work with one fiber, cotton, linen, wool, etc., which would you choose? I want to say linen. Maybe cotton. I mean, cotton is more versatile, maybe. But I feel like linen is more sustainable, and I love wearing linen, love working with linen. Cotton or linen? Probably linen. Yeah, I'm gonna say linen. I know you don't eat meat. I would love to do that. What motivated you to stop? One day, it just kind of hit me what needs to happen in order to get that meat on my plate. It's something I've always kind of known, but you know how sometimes something you've always known just kind of clicks and you suddenly just realize that it's really weird. I don't know how else to explain it. I feel like factory farming is one of the biggest evils of our time. It's absolutely atrocious. So that's like on a large scale. On a smaller scale, I cannot handle suffering and death, and it is not necessary for other creatures to die in order to sustain me. I can survive very well in good health without meat, so I don't want to eat it. Basically, in this day and age, it is so easy to distance oneself from that I couldn't see any reason why I wouldn't. But yeah, that is pretty much it. It's just every single step in the process of making meat absolutely makes my skin crawl, and suddenly I felt like a giant hypocrite for eating it then. So I stopped, and that was it. I never looked back. Along the same vein, someone asks, has your diet changed since pregnancy and having your little one? A little bit. So in my first trimester, I felt really nauseous and I couldn't eat a lot. So at that point, I reintroduced a little bit of eggs and dairy into my diet, small amount. And I kept eating like little amounts of eggs and dairy as I was breastfeeding. And now I still buy a little bit of eggs and dairy for baby. It is not a very substantial part of our diet. The vast majority of everything we eat is still plant-based. If we ever buy animal products, they are always 100% organic and never meat. I completely finished this giant tea, so time for a refill. The next day. Sorry if you can hear any music softly in the background. The elementary school near to our house is having their King's Day festivities. Anyways, let's answer a few more questions. I'm gonna do some that got lots of thumbs up on YouTube. Hi Lucy, has becoming a mother made you feel more lonely? And how do you balance time with your baby with the need to have time for yourself? You know, to not go completely mad. No, I wouldn't say it has made me more lonely. If anything, less so. The way my life is set up, I spend a lot of time alone in my house just because I work from here, but I also just really enjoy being at home. As I mentioned already, I'm a homebody. And now instead of alone, I spend a lot of that time with baby, who is a person. And it's actually really fun to have him around. The both of us hang out with my best friend a lot. She lives very close here, and we see each other multiple times a week usually. And as for time for myself, I actually do feel like I get plenty of that as well. I still have my ballet classes, I go to the gym every now and then, and sometimes I will even get an entire day to myself to go a little bit further away and do something fun, like go to the spa or to a theme park or something like that. And in those times, baby is with his dad, who is a homebody as well, so he is at home pretty much as often as I am, probably even more actually. So yeah, it's really no problem for baby to just be with him while I'm away doing something else. And we try to strike a nice balance there so that both of us get a little bit of alone time every now and then. It really helps that both of us work from home as well, because it's just a lot easier to organize things that way. Oh, and one thing, a huge thing, I think, that I do for myself is that whenever baby naps, that is resting time for me as well. I don't do chores when baby naps, I don't work when baby naps. When he is napping, I'm resting. Recently, I've loved just sitting outside in the garden, or I will do a little bit of knitting, a little bit of reading, drink a cup of tea and just relax for a little bit. Baby's naps are pretty short, so it's not a huge chunk out of my day, but it's just a little 45-minute break, which is so lovely and really helps me recharge. You are so calm and polite and peaceful. What keeps you so centered? That would be a crushing and all-encompassing need to be liked by everyone. I am pretty much incapable of acting in a way that could be perceived as unpleasant or rude. That's just, yeah. I am about as people-pleasing as they come. Things have to be very dire before I stop being civil. I am not always calm and grounded and peaceful, not at all, but I internalize everything and I definitely won't show it on camera. So yeah, I feel like that is more of a perception that people have of me than really a reality. But also I am someone who doesn't handle stress very well, so I try my best to avoid it as much as I can, and I try to make my life as peaceful and easy to handle for myself as possible so that I can live in, you know, that peace. I have worked all my life towards creating a situation for myself that is very manageable and that I can function in to the best of my abilities. I think that really helps. As soon as I am under a little bit more stress, that goes out of the window. Hey Lucy, deep question. How do you feel as a second generation of immigrants? We moved abroad so our future kids would have better opportunities. How will our kids feel? Do you struggle with identity, or were you bullied at school for different backgrounds, traditions at home than your peers? So I'm actually a first generation immigrant. I was born in Slovakia. It's always hard for me to answer these questions that kind of require a comparison, because I have never known a life different from the one that I lived. So I don't know what my experience would have been like if I wasn't an immigrant. But what I can say is that I have never felt like an immigrant. The culture that I come from is not so different from the one that we moved into. And also we assimilated into the local culture pretty quickly. So I never felt different from my peers. We moved here when I was 2 or 3 years old, so I am a native speaker, no accents or anything like that, which I'm sure helps a lot. Other than being multilingual, I honestly don't think my childhood was any different from any of my peers. For me, it's been a very positive experience. I feel like I get the best of both worlds because I absolutely love the Netherlands. This is my home. This is the country I will die in. But Czechia and Slovakia, where I'm from, do Christmas so much better. Yeah, I feel like I get to cherry pick all the nice things from all cultures and just enjoy everything. It's wonderful. So for me, it's definitely been a positive experience, but that may just be because it wasn't very obvious in my case that I was not a native. I might have had a different experience if it was a little bit more obvious, but of course I don't know about that. Last question. If you could create your own Loopsie tea blend, what kind of tea would it be? Spicy, floral, strong, etc. I know exactly what I would do. I would make blends of green and white teas with floral notes for sure. Jasmine, violet, lavender, rose. And then maybe a complementary line of herbal teas, you know, to do something caffeine-free with the same kind of floral notes. Cornflower. Oh, I have so many ideas. Oh, I have to do this one day, don't I? I need to figure out how to bring out a line of teas one day, hopefully. Alrighty, that is all the time I have for this week. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. I really hope you enjoyed hanging out with me this week. I hope you have a lovely weekend ahead of you, and I will see you again next week.